Lefty's Deceiver. Being a fly fisherman as well, this has been one of the most devastating flies in my arsenal when I was fly fishing. First thing, remove this collar here. This is a 1.8 gram. If you remove the collar, I weighed it, it becomes about 1.5 grams, 1.6 grams. Just readjust this. Right. It's one of my favorite flies. It's proven many times on my fly rod and also as a jig fly. For some reason, peacock bass here in Singapore, they love this fly. Right, advance the thread all the way to almost to the bend of the hook. Let's put some super glue. This prevents the thread from rotating around the hook shank. Also helps with the durability of your fly. Okay, first thing we're going to tie on the hackle. Okay, this is chicken feather. This is a saddle. These things come either as the neck, the front where the breast of the chicken is, or the saddle. I think the saddle is the back of the chicken. You'll notice this part, which is near the neck, the feathers are like this, round and short. They're not suitable for the fly today. Actually they can be, but not for the typical Lefty Deceiver. Now if you move further back, you start to see feathers like that, and that is what we want. See, it comes to a very fine point and then has pretty distinct bars. I think these are called grizzly bars, if I'm not wrong. As you move further up to the middle, they become longer and longer at that point. And for the size of this jig head, this is too long. It'll be a waste if you use it for this fly. So what we want to do is choose those relatively near the neck, where the shape is something like that. Let me try and get a single feather out to show you. Something like this. Alright? Yeah, and towards the back you get really beautiful long ones. They're good for other flies or bigger deceivers. It's not something we want to use. And right at the end of a saddle, these kinds of shapes, which also we're not going to use today. Alright, select 4 about the same size, 1, 2, and 3 and 4. Some people like to stagger the height of the feather. I'm one of them. But before that, you have to decide whether you want your feathers to be splayed out like this, looking down from the top of the fly, whether they're splayed out like that. This type of movement in the water you get every time you jerk. These will close, and then when the fly is stationary, when it stops, they'll open up. So something like frog's legs. In fly fishing, we call it stripping. Every time you strip the fly, it will flatten. When you stop stripping, it will jump open. Normally good when you're tying topwater flies, because they mimic the legs of a frog really well. One of the fly patterns that I know that I tie that makes use of this property is a Dalberg diver, which is a fly, a topwater fly. It's considered a slider. It's a very good fly, but that's out of the topic for today. You can do this if you want, or what I prefer, instead of spreading them this way, I turn them around and make them face each other, and the result is like this. Where the cross section is more straight, but there's still a lot of action. And sometimes when they overlap in the water this way, you still get a little bit of a V and movement. There's no right or wrong way, you just which way you prefer to have it. For today, let's tie it this way. Let's do it my preferred way. Okay, so we're going to stagger one long and one short per side. I like to stagger the length because it adds to the action of the fly in the water. Okay, let's decide now how long we want this fly to be. I think this is nice, about here. So what do we do now? We hold this part, and we know we're going to tie in here, right? So we pull the feathers backwards until they separate from the shaft. Sometimes they'll come out like this. That's fine as well. Okay, I want it here. Just double check. Okay, that's correct. And loosely first, and then tighten. Check that they haven't rotated over to the top, and then go a few more reps just to secure them. I like to cut it a little bit further up because it gives the thread a lot more material to hold on to. It gives a bit more durability to the fly, I think. Okay. The other side, same. One long and one short, stagger them. Should be about this length. So do the same thing, pull back, separate the fibers, just double check again. Okay. And then we're going to tie in with loose wraps at first. Looks good. Just lock it all the way in. Right. Tidy up a little bit. Just using my finger to guide the material. Now we're going to put the bobbin right here again because the next step is to tie in some crystal flash. So I've cut some red crystal flash to wrap the body with. Put about this much because later on we're going to fold this back. Okay, about this much. Tie it in here right at the end. Okay, roughly bring it all back to the front. I don't know if you can hear the thunderstorm, the tropical thunderstorm that's happening outside my window right now. So it's a good day to stock up on all these jig flies so that I can fish with them next time. At this point, it's time to super glue everything in. Always put a very thin layer because if it's too thick, it takes too long to cure. Alright. What happens now? You bring the arm over, rest it like this. Then you take your 3 strands of crystal flash, pull relatively tightly, and then go around. You can go back and forth if you have enough material. But you don't have to be very precise with this if you don't want to. Okay, we're done. And pull tight. Okay. Alright. All these we can fold back later together with the rest of the crystal flash, which I'm going to tie in now. 4 more strands of gold. This time we're going to loop it around this way, make sure they are roughly around the same length. Put it on top, decide where anchor, and then just go 1, 2, 3 or so. That's enough. And I want them to be about this length. Stagger them a little bit. You want the crystal flash to go past the tail because on the water, from what I see, it looks pretty distracting. It takes away from the action of the hackle under the water. Okay, we have gold on top. Let's put some red below. And the red can be a little bit shorter. Separate them 2 per side. This part you can use UV glue to coat it, but I find that super glue is fine because these flies are tight to be fished with, not to be displayed. My habit is to tie it fast and hit the water fast. Bucktail. I love the natural color because you can already tie most flies with these 2 colors. White for the belly, brown for the back. So if you're on a budget, no need to buy too many colors of bucktail, just the white one, good enough for natural patterns. Alright, what we want is the relatively thinner fibers because this is a very tiny fly. Something like this. Now we take all the long ones, those that are too long, pull them out, realign them so that the volume, the overall volume is better. That looks okay. Looks alright. Now we want the bucktail to be about 3/4 of the length of the hackle where it extends to. You can have it the same length as well. Nobody has set any rules. You can have it very short as well, but I like mine either halfway or 3/4 back. So I'm gonna hold it right there and cut here. It's important to know that if this were a fly, a normal fly fishing fly, you would tie the white below here where the hook point is. But because this is a jig, it's actually upside down compared to a normal fly, a normal deceiver. So the belly is actually at the opposite side of the hook point. Now we're going to put this here, a few light wraps, and then get progressively tighter and tighter. That looks good. Just make sure it's sitting right. Now we can tighten it really tight. Now this has flat, doesn't matter, we can do a few loose wraps to put it down. Okay, see how the deer hair has rotated? It's covering the belly. This part is not a simple case of just moving it back. No big issue. It looks about right. It doesn't really matter to the fish. Okay, now we've done the belly, let's do the back. But before that, I want to make sure I have 4 of this crystal flash on each side before we tie it on. Okay, same thing for the back. We want the thinner fibers. There aren't many thin fibers on top. They are normally towards the tip here. So either you cut from here or you cut the thicker ones and just use the ends. Okay. Get rid of the fluff. Align the super long ones downwards until you get nice volume. Decide how long. Normally you would match the length of the bottom for the back of the fly. You can also get it a little bit longer than the bottom. What you usually don't see is that the top is shorter than the bottom. So let's do one that is roughly the same length. I would say about there. And then we cut. And now we're going to tie in. Looks okay to me. Just checking whether it's even from the top. And now I'm going to even out the top and bottom. Okay, done. 2, 3, pull. Super glue. Can never have enough super glue on your fly if you're going after peacock bass. I can tell you they're terrible. The same with barramundi and most other tropical. Tilapia is good. Tilapia doesn't hurt your fly at all. Okay, I think that's it. Our fly is done. This is Lefty's Deceiver. Oh, sorry. This way. Yeah. Top, bottom. Thanks for watching.